Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of MMA at Midnight. I'm your host, Shant Yeretzian, and this week we're going to preview Liddell versus Ortiz 3. It's going to be under Golden Boy MMA Promotions, and we're also going to preview UFC Fight Night Beijing, which is going to have a rematch between Curtis Blaydes and Francis Ngannou, and we're also going to cover some news going on in the MMA world. Let's get started with the Liddell versus Ortiz 3. This is a matchup that some fans have really been wanting to see again, and there's also some that necessarily don't want to see Chuck fight anymore just for his health reasons, and he's getting up there in age. Tito, even though he's getting up there in age as well, he's been around forever. He's even around during the SEG days, like the UFC game here. That's Tito on the cover. Yeah, that was during the SEG era, way before the Zuffa era. So he's been around a long time as well. But he's been active. He's been going, and it looks like, you know, health-wise, he's in a lot better shape, a lot better place. His chin hasn't taken the damage as Chuck Liddell. Liddell's been knocked out a bunch of times. You know, Tito's always been pretty good about protecting his chin. He's kind of like Chael Sonnen. He'll cover up and kind of get the TKO instead of going unconscious just to protect his head. Tito, you know, he's still got his chin. So it depends on how Chuck's going to look. A lot of people have been criticizing Chuck during the open workouts. He looked kind of slow. I have that video posted up. He did look slow, but Chuck's response was like, I'm not going 100%. I'm not going to injure myself, you know, a week before the fight. And that makes sense as well. And you could see that Chuck was wearing like a back brace, like under his rash guard. You know, that shows his age. You know, he doesn't want to throw his back out or throw anything out. He's just taking it easy. So I believe in that aspect as well. But also, speed does go. You know, his power is still there, and power is always the last thing to go, but speed goes. When you get up there in age, you do slow down. So Tito still looks sharp, hitting mitts. Tito, you know, he still looks the same. Like, honestly, like, he doesn't look like he's aged, like, you know, much. And if anything, his boxing has gotten crisper. You know, his hands definitely have gotten better over the years. So it's kind of weird. If I'm going to have to take a pick, I'm picking Tito in this one. Even though Chuck won the first two fights, I got to go with Tito just because, like I said, the reasons, like, age has been kinder to him. Liddell, he's had a lot of knockouts. He's been out of the game for a long time. You know, Tito's been active. So I'm gonna go with Tito Ortiz as my pick for this one, and it's also, I'm looking forward to seeing how this pay-per-view does. And this is the first MMA event for Golden Boy Promotions. I'm curious to see if Oscar De La Hoya is gonna do any more MMA events after this. So let's see how it goes. It'll be an interesting event. They also have some familiar names on the card, like Tom Lawler. Gleason Tebow is taking on Efren Escudero. So there are some familiar names also on the card for UFC fans. Everyone, you know, is going to be tuning in for Liddell versus Ortiz 3, the main event. So let's move on to the UFC Fight Night in Beijing. We have Curtis Blaydes taking on Francis Ngannou in a rematch. Francis Ngannou won the first match by TKO doctor stoppage. Curtis Blaydes' eye was completely shut. He was bleeding from it, and the doctor ended up stopping the fight because he couldn't see out of it. So let's see how this goes. But the things have been changing. Francis Ngannou is on a 2-fight losing streak. He's lost both his fights by decision. And Curtis Blaydes is on a 4-fight win streak. He's coming off that win over Alistair Overeem. So Curtis Blaydes has all the momentum right now. Even though Francis Ngannou had some hype going into his title shot with Stipe Miocic, that's all gone. All that momentum is gone. All like the fans have kind of like bailed out on him. He didn't look good in his last couple fights. So momentum-wise, I got to go with Curtis Blaydes. But who knows? Francis Ngannou, I feel like it's like a mental block, and like once he gets that mental game straightened out, and then like his training is gonna follow, and then I think he'll be ready. I don't know when that's gonna be, if it's gonna be this fight or coming up. But as right now, I have to pick Curtis Blaydes. But Francis Ngannou is still one of the hardest punchers in the game. He still has that knockout. He's still got that puncher's chance. You know, he's got crazy knockout power. And who knows? He might have figured things out. You know, whether it's the mental game, the training, he might have gotten it all straightened out this camp. So it's interesting to see what he's going to do coming off all those losses. If Francis Ngannou can turn it around, because that's a rough streak for him, considering how much momentum he had going into that Stipe fight and how much hype after he knocked out Alistair Overeem. There's also some other heavyweights on the card. There's in the co-main event, it's Alistair Overeem taking on Sergey Pavlovich. Sergey's undefeated And Overeem is coming off 2 straight losses. He's coming off that knockout loss to Francis Ngannou, and then he lost to Curtis Blades. And we know Overeem, he's had a bunch of knockout losses. His chin isn't necessarily there anymore. So Sergey has a bunch of knockout wins. He's got heavy hands. I'm looking for Sergey to knock out Alistair Overeem in this fight. I'm picking Sergey. I know you guys don't know, a lot of you guys don't know him, but I think he's going to bring it to Overeem. Overeem has been known to underestimate opponents as well. If he's underestimating this dude, he's going to get KO'd. So yeah, I think Sergey's going to win by knockout in that one. That'll be another interesting heavyweight bout. It's weird that they stack the heavyweight fights on like the cards like on Fight Pass or Beijing. I don't know if they do that to try and get fans to sign up or what the deal is, or maybe they think it's more appealing over there, but we know the American fans are dying for more heavyweight fights, so I'm kind of surprised that it's over there in Beijing. But there's some other good fights on the card also worth checking out, but it's not really that stacked. Those are pretty much the main fights to keep an eye on. Also in the news, we had the back and forth between Mayweather and Tenshin, and the fight got canceled, and then it's back on. But they are going to do an exhibition match with no kicks, just punches. It's just going to be a boxing exhibition. Mayweather's like, we're just going to move around for a bit for 3 rounds, so I'm not necessarily excited for it, but it's going to happen. I love Rizin. I love Japanese MMA. I think Tenshin is amazing. He's the future. I hope he can. The rules allow him to actually bring it and try and take Mayweather's head off, because that's what I want to see. I don't want to see Mayweather just like, running around the ring for like 3 rounds, because that's not something I want to see. I want to see Tenshin, be tested, because this dude is the future. He's really that good. So I hope that's how that fight goes. It's going to be an actual fight, but as far as now, it's just going to be an exhibition. No kicks, just going to be boxing, moving around. It's going to be probably like a light sparring, but hopefully there will be a change, or there will be allowed to go 100%. So tune in for the fights this week. We have Liddell versus Ortiz 3 on pay-per-view, Golden Boy MMA, and also UFC Fight Night in Beijing, Curtis Blades versus Francis Ngannou 2. So we'll see you guys for the post-fight special. Thank you guys for joining me. Subscribe to the channel and like the video, and we'll see you then. Bye.